A rich Internet application is a web application that has many of the characteristics of desktop application software, typically delivered by way of a site-specific browser, a browser plugin, an independent sandbox, extensive use of JavaScript, or a virtual machine. Adobe Flash, JavaFX, and Microsoft Silverlight are currently the three most common platforms, with desktop browser penetration rates around 96%, 76%, and 66%, respectively. Google Trends shows that frameworks based on a plugin are in the process of being replaced by HTML5/JavaScript-based alternatives. Users generally need to install a software framework using the computer's operating system before launching the application, which typically downloads, updates, verifies and executes the RIA. This is the main differentiator from HTML5/JavaScript-based alternatives like Ajax that use built-in browser functionality to implement comparable interfaces. As can be seen on the list of rich Internet application frameworks, which includes even server-side frameworks, while some consider such interfaces to be RIAs, some consider them competitors to RIAs. And others, including Gartner, treat them as similar but separate technologies. RIAs dominate in browser-based gaming as well as applications that require access to video capture. Web standards such as HTML5 have developed and the compliance of web browsers with those standards has improved somewhat. However, the need for plugin-based RIAs for accessing video capture and distribution has not diminished, even with the emergence of HTML5 and JavaScript-based desktop-like widget sets that provide alternative solutions for mobile web browsing. Plugins, Adobe Flash. Adobe Flash manipulates vector and raster graphics to provide animation of text, drawings, and still images. It supports bidirectional streaming of audio and video, and it can capture user input via mouse, keyboard, microphone, and camera. Flash contains an object-oriented language called ActionScript and supports automation via the JavaScript Flash language. Flash content may be displayed on various computer systems and devices, using Adobe Flash Player, which is available free of charge for common web browsers, some mobile phones and a few other electronic devices. Apache Flex, formerly Adobe Flex, is a software development kit for the development and deployment of cross-platform rich Internet applications based on the Adobe Flash platform. Initially developed by Macromedia and then acquired by Adobe Systems, Flex was donated by Adobe to the Apache Software Foundation in 2011. Java. Java applets are used to create interactive visualizations and to present video, three-dimensional objects and other media. Java applets are more appropriate for complex visualizations that require significant programming effort in high-level language or communications between applet and originating server. JavaFX. JavaFX is a software platform for creating and delivering rich Internet applications that can run across a wide variety of connected devices. The current release enables building applications for desktop, browser and mobile phones. RIA for mobile phones is called Rich Mobile Application. TV set-top boxes, gaming consoles, Blu-ray players and other platforms are planned. JavaFX runs as plugin Java applet or via WebStart. Microsoft Silverlight. Silverlight was proposed by Microsoft as another proprietary alternative. The technology has not been widely accepted and, for instance, lacks support on many mobile devices. Some examples of application were video streaming for events including the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing, the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver, and the 2008 conventions for both major political parties in the United States. Silverlight is also used by Netflix for its instant video streaming service. HTML5/JavaScript, GWT. Google Web Toolkit is an open-source set of tools that allows web developers to create and maintain complex JavaScript front-end applications in Java. Other than a few native libraries, everything is Java source that can be built on any supported platform with the included GWT and build files. It is licensed under the Apache License version 2.0. EXTJS. EXTJS is a pure JavaScript application framework for building interactive web applications using techniques such as AJAX, DHTML and DOM scripting. Viadine. Viadine is an open-source web application framework for rich Internet applications. In contrast to JavaScript libraries and browser plugin-based solutions, it features a server-side architecture, which means that the majority of the logic runs on the servers. AJAX technology is used at the browser side to ensure a rich and interactive user experience. The client-side portion of Viadine is built on top of Google Web Toolkit and can be extended with it. History. The term Rich Internet Application was introduced in a white paper of March 2002 by Macromedia, though the concept had existed for a number of years earlier under names such as Remote Scripting, by Microsoft, c. 1999, X-Internet, by Forrester Research in October 2000, Rich Clients, Rich Web Application, Design, Distribution, Cost. Rich Internet applications use a rich client deployment model rather than a thin client-server model. Flash, Silverlight and Java application platforms accessed by the user's web browser as plugins. These application platforms limit the amount of data downloaded during initialization to only what is necessary to display the page. The browser plugin is only downloaded once, and does not need to be re-downloaded every time the page is displayed. This reduces application load time, bandwidth requirements, and server load. Proponents of RIAs assert that the cost of RIA development and O&M is typically lower than that of HTML-based alternatives due to increased developer productivity and standardized, backwards-compatible nature of the application platform runtime environments. A 2010 study conducted by International Data Corporation demonstrated an average savings of approximately $450,000 per application in the case of Flash platform development, a 39% reduction in cost over a 3-year period. Characteristics: RIAs present indexing challenges to web search engines, but Adobe Flash content is now at least partially indexable. Security can improve over that of application software, but the extensions themselves remain subject to vulnerabilities and access is often much greater than that of native web applications. For security purposes, most RIAs run their client portions within a special isolated area of the client desktop called a sandbox. The sandbox limits visibility and access to the file system and to the operating system on the client to the application server on the other side of the connection. This approach allows the client system to handle local activities, calculations, reformatting and so forth, thereby lowering the amount and frequency of client-server traffic, especially versus client-server implementations built around so-called thin clients. New trends: in November 2011, there were a number of announcements that demonstrated a decline in demand for rich Internet application architectures based on plugins in order to favor HTML5 alternatives. Adobe announced that Flash would no longer be produced for mobile or TV. Pundits questioned its continued relevance even on the desktop and described it as the beginning of the end. Research in Motion announced that it would continue to develop Flash for the playbook, a decision questioned by some commentators. Rumors state that Microsoft is to abandon Silverlight after version 5 is released. The combination of these announcements had some proclaiming at the end of the line for browser plugins. See also, HTML5, List of rich Internet application frameworks, PIGUI, references. External links, Accessible Rich Internet Applications 1.0, W3C Candidate Recommendation January 18, 2011, Rich Web Client Activity Statement, W3C.